다들 사된 봐. 다다는 영국이 주주 당보도 제가 심조도 감아직도 다 전능로 되게 센트럴 런던로 되게 예미 흉섭 당다 사와 있어죠. 저는 메가 엠베시 어들 캠비를 도디 캠비드는 주주 이번에 주주 시오부터셔 저 제가 나다가 아름다 잘돈냈어 그 예미 흉섭 사와 되고 군중 처시디 니만이 되어 단다에 곧 처시디 루요 말에 지글었던 먼저 홍콩당 일부당 배박이 영생생 먹고 여러 지내니 비니 군조 다 가래 쉬운게 단다 비게 군조 사자디 다 주도요 말에 단다 못하니 다 비제 마람주 거열라 비제 군조 라에기 찬스토지 여서 말레스 덴데로지 감정 고수 이나면 가지다 간점만 정한도 고수다 간점만 제 베개 흉적 말아야기 못되네 아니 뭐 지요래 계세디 라바이나다 유럽 나오네 흉적 개미 흉적는다 흉적 뭔고 여러 유럽 나오는다 흉적 최셔도 어디 개미기 흉적 차야래도 근데 소사다 다리 뭐디 배제 미망부 레기 메트로스 삼기도 지난당도 배보다 싫어요 말아 홍콩 뉴질랜드 빼먹을 일이래 홍콩 지글레나 삼미 뉴쇼나 직동 이동 레디도 그래서 배보다 빼먹을 다 런던 브리즈에서 네 까마추스 공부하고 the Tower Bridge to put him to Tower Bridge coming down here.
We will shortly be arriving at London Bridge. Change here for this station is London 6. Wheel sorted.
스테이션 디 소비에전이 싫어 두고 말해 로카시 스토리에서 딩야라디 인데 친구 요 말해 내가 다들 가면 주스 고마자고 그래. 내 빌딩 껴줘라. 네 속에 잡듯이 이거 아니면 쉬고 먹고 쉬고 삼고 사도. 그게 삼박한 로 표제 딩얘기 년도는 루셔 섬스 공다 가지다 님의 공가 진짜 루요 딩얘는 겸비다가 두대 사자다가는 루임바 한게들 양교적이 연인적으로 저스이다 당아 런던 런다 롱이슈 이슈 적지 두도 그게 somebody 저 겁도 째냐면요 근데 두신 친구들은 안에 사방디 somebody 야 같이도 somebody 봐줘 수중이 전나만 갸도 근데 같이 갸 통샤 somebody 같이 와 맞단다 보통 많이 어디 다 대쇼 탑디셔 어디 농바 거래가지 그거 좀 그 계단에서 어디 있어? 가정 잡을지도. 틀릭 잡듯이 믹스 싫어서 개미도 야, 나 삼박한 레소. 이게 너무 미도. 그게 조선실이다. 어디 같아서 스테이션으로 우리 차왔어. 어디는 화정을 취했으면 이 조선대 두고도 조선대 내버려래 라방. 이제 종이 있으면 뭐 트래픽에 내 옷 망고 있었다. 폴리스 장등이 망고도 이게 좀 연탄 못했을까? 이게 계달 통다 폴리스 망고도 주시. Let's go. Under the eyes of government, under the eyes of the police. And this country believer in our protection and our freedom, but I'm afraid being betrayed. Too many of those who work for the CCP who go out daily to try and target those individuals, those brave people that you are here who are still believing in freedom, and we haven't done enough to protect you. I promise you that who are about to speak now will stand by those who suffer from transnational repression. And I therefore now want to introduce the leader of the opposition, the leader of the Conservative Party, and may I tell you with some satisfaction, I believe the next Prime Minister of this great country, Kemi Badenoch.
I cannot tell you what an honor and a privilege it is to be with you all today. I want you all to know that I understand and I am with you. For those of you who don't know, I grew up under a dictatorship. I know what it is like to live under a government that you are terrified of. I know what it is like to be afraid of what will happen to you if you speak out, for journalists to be murdered, for people to be hounded out of the country. I understand, and that is why I know it is wrong for this super embassy to be built here on this site. China is a country that has harassed and sanctioned our MPs like Ian. China is a country that has harassed and abused British nationals connected to China. It helps our enemies like Russia. It keeps slaves. It disrupts the global trade system. We know that we have to stand up to the abuses of China. And what worries me is that we have a government right now that seems to be scared of China. We have a government that is afraid, too weak, no backbone. What we need right now is a government that will act in the British national interest and protect those people who are fighting for those Chinese citizens who are suffering. I am standing here with you today because I believe in freedom. I am standing with you today because I know what it is like to live without freedom. We take it for granted in the United Kingdom because we have had it for so long. But those who have lived under oppressive regimes, those who have lived under authoritarianism, those who have lived under communism know what that suffering is like, and we do not want to see that here. To party, I stand with you. I tell you that I will always fight for freedom, and I am calling on the government to stop this decision. We do not want a country that spies on our MPs having this super embassy right here. And I will do everything within my power to continue speaking on your behalf. All of you here today are so brave. I see the bravery. I know how difficult it is. I do not want you to be spied on. I do not want you to be hounded. I do not want you to be chucked into a makeshift police station. This is a free country. We must always guarantee freedom, and we need a government with a backbone and a prime minister who is not weak, who will look after our national interests and make sure that he supports British values, of which freedom is the primary one. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, all of you. I'm so proud to be here, and I will continue doing everything that I can to fight for your cause. Thank you.
No China mega embassy. China lives. China lives. China lives. China
Je sais pas c'est qui mais je filme.
Sorry, yeah, from the mayor. What else would you say to him, Dom?
Okay. Stop being so terrified. Stop going China with the begging dog and start fixing I just think he has completely lost the will to fight for this country. He should be acting in our national interest. And this is the embassy. Given everything we know about alleged spies, given everything we know about the disruption, it's completely crazy to just grant it.
Are they playing on national security? What do you think is the worst thing that could happen if this got built? What's your worst nightmare?
Well, we've seen what China does in some countries with some of its worst outputs. We won't be able to have as much security here as we would do in a normal embassy. We know that they put people into their makeshift police stations. We know that they carry out a lot of crime, and that's what I'm most worried about. I think we need to send a signal. And I don't know what is going on in Kirstan's mind. He should not be going to Beijing until he has said no to this embassy.
Kemi, what do you think about Taiwan? Kemi, is Taiwan a part of China, yes or no?
Ja, haben wir den noch so.
Why do I say this? Usually, anti-China arrest warrants against Hong Kongers here simply for exercising their freedom of speech. Because after Chinese consular officials attacked protesters inside the Manchester consulate, the UK government still failed to hold anyone criminally accountable, demonstrating how the CCP abused diplomatic privilege. because the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office in London hired agents to spy on and harass overseas dissidents. CCP treats its diplomatic missions as hubs for intelligence. Therefore, we strongly urge the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, today, what you must do is to firmly reject the CCP's application of building a China mega embassy. Do you agree? Yes. Do you agree? Yes. And further, conduct a full investigation into all past abuse of diplomatic privilege and violation of human rights committed by the CCP. Do you agree? Yes. You must genuinely fulfill your promise to protect the freedom of expression and the personal safety for everyone threatened by the CCP. Reassuring our common wish. Everyone don't need to live in fear, and we can express our thoughts freely. I strongly believe that one day we will win the democracy and freedom we deserve. Power to the people! 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher Mong from Hong Kong Labour Rights Monitor. For our next speaker, I'd like to invite Julie Cohn from Stars of Myanmar Friendship. As you know, in Myanmar they're currently facing a brutal
security
civil war,
officials
one that
say
is
in
backed
private
by the Chinese regime.
and what they say in
So,
public,
thank you, Julie.
when Number 10 have made their view very clear, it's two very, very different things. When you talk to those people privately, they don't want this idea. Our security people really don't want it. The British public don't want it. The local residents don't want it. And the Americans, our Five Eyes partners, don't want it. The only person that wants it is the two, President Xi and Keir Starmer. You take Kenny Badenoch looking and sounding like the proper Prime Minister, saying no, instead of Keir Starmer saying, yes sir, President Xi, 3 bags full of shit. I know who I'd rather follow.
We're widely expecting the government to approve these plans this week. Could there be a legal challenge? If there is that something you've been pushing forward in the House of Commons?
I'm not a lawyer, but if this is legally challenged, I very much hope that challenge will succeed. But to say the thing that's really say before you go there, we have to otherwise it's like count out, and that's not any British Prime Minister count out
No mega Chinese embassy! Welcome, welcome!
Steve Reed! Wake up, wake up! Steve Reed! Wake up, wake up! Steve Reed! What do we want? What do we want? No China embassy! What do we want?
No mega Chinese embassy!
When do we want it? Now! When do we want it?
No!
We reject! Chinese mega embassy! We reject!
Chinese mega embassy!
We reject!
Chinese mega embassy!
Shame!
Chinese shame!
Shame!
CCP! China shame!
No embassy! No Chinese mega embassy!
No Chinese mega embassy!
No Chinese mega embassy! No repression at borders! Not here, not now! No repression at cross border! Not here, not now! No, not here! No repression at cross borders!
No, yeah.
now! A very good afternoon to all my brothers and sisters from different diaspora communities here defenders, our supporters, honorable member of parliaments who are here, and politicians, academia, media groups, supporters from all over the UK who are gathered here in large numbers today at this very important rally. On behalf of my Tibetan community in UK, I would like to extend a warm Tachidevek and sincere thank you to all of you for being here, and especially to Kemi, the opposition leader, who took time out for this very important, critical and momentous Bridge the Gap rally, No Mega Embassy, held in the heart of our vibrant city of London. My name is Tetan Sangmo. I'm the regional coordinator of Tibetan community in the UK. I'm a nurse in NHS, and I came all the way from Bristol today to amplify our voices to ensure they are heard by the Secretary of State for Housing, Communities and Local Government, Mr. Steve Reed, before he made this historical decision on the proposed mega Chinese embassy on 20th of January, just a few days from now. Mr. Reed, your decision to reject this proposal matters most to us today. As a Tibetan, I'm here because I want to tell you that Tibet, my country, has been illegally occupied by the Chinese Communist authoritarian regime since 1959. Tibetans are denied of the fundamental human rights. Our rich cultural heritage has been systematically destroyed. Our religious and worship sites have been demolished. Around 1 million Tibetan innocent children have been forcefully taken away from their parents and placed into Chinese colonial boarding school with the aim to wipe out our rich culture, language, and identity. There is no religious freedom. Our monasteries are under strict Chinese state-controlled surveillance and monitoring. Our history is rewritten. Tibetan language education has been banned in schools. Our cities are flooded with heavy policing and digital surveillance. Every movement and every voices is monitored, questioned, and suppressed. Our singers, writers, artists are detained, persecuted, and imprisoned merely for singing songs in spiritual leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The Panchen Lama, who was only 6 years old, was forcefully abducted by the Chinese Communist Party and remained disappeared to this day. His whereabouts still unknown. Due to unbearable repression and ongoing cultural genocide, many Tibetans have resorted to the most extreme form of protest, self-immolation, to protest Chinese illegal occupation of Tibet and to call for the return of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to Tibet. The situation inside Tibet is worsening. I want to say shame on China. And this list is endless. Shame on China. Shame on China.
Shame on China.
Shame on China. That is why today I ask, why on earth is our government is being lured by Chinese fancy words and dangerous delusions? I stand here today as a Tibetan and as a British Tibetan to tell the UK government, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Mr. Steve Reed, open your eyes, open your ears, open your senses. China and the CCP are stretching their legs and their powers and influence far beyond their borders. They are strengthening extraterritorial control through expansionist strategies, and now they are coming to the UK. The mega Chinese embassy would serve as a form of sharp power designed to pierce, penetrate, perforate, and undermine our vibrant city, our culture, and the democratic political environment through surveillance, interference, intimidation, weakening our legislation system and the legitimacy of our advocacy organizations, and hinder their functionality. Across diaspora community stories and other evidence, I want to give them anonymous. There are Chinese embassy officials
officials and their proxies gather information from activists and community leaders, surveil individuals, intimidate families back in Tibet, exploit cyber vulnerabilities, and silence voices through fear. The same mechanism used to repress Tibetans could easily be applied to wider UK communities, posing a grave threat to human rights, democracy, privacy, and national security on British soil. This proposed mega embassy site, as exposed by the Telegraph, sits close to underground infrastructure carrying sensitive financial data and reportedly includes 208 secret rooms. This is deeply concerning and worrying. It risks becoming a hub for intimidation, espionage, and transnational repression right in the heart of London, a city that claims to stand for freedom. This proposal is extremely concerning and represents a serious threat to our democracy, public safety, human rights, and national security. Let us not repeat these past mistakes again. The residents of Tower Hamlets have spoken loudly and clearly in opposition. If the 1.7 billion Stonehenge A303 tunnel project was annexed in 2024 due to public opposition, why can't we stop this? If the A27 Aruntel bypass was cancelled due to resistance from residents and environmental groups, why can't we? If the northern legs of HS2 rail project were cancelled due to public concern, cost and environmental issues, then why can't we cancel this? This is about national security. This is about fear, espionage. This is about intimidation and transnational repression on our own British soil. This is unacceptable. I live in this country. I pay my taxes. I'm a British Tibetan. And I contribute to society. And I expect my government to listen to our voices, to our fears, and to our warnings. I ask Mr. Steve Reid to reject, and say a big clear no to this proposal. Even if Prime Minister Keir Starmer visits China, he must go with pride, carrying British values and principles of democracy and fairness. True leadership means having the courage to say no when it matters the most. The 2018 Boris Johnson's Royal Mint Court deal was a disastrous mistake. Another blunder like Brexit. This proposal must be re-examined and rejected. Finally, I want to thank the MPs who have raised concern in Parliament and stood up to national sovereignty and security. We need more leaders like you. And to our own supporters who are here, I want to say thank you. Because of our grassroots actions and leaders and community strength and solidarity, the opposition to this mega embassy is growing stronger every day. I believe that on 20th of January, Mr. Reid will make the right decision with no excuses and reject this proposal for the good of the nation, for the good of this city, and for the good of our democracy. Democracy means listening to the people. And people say here today, reject it. Axis, say no to Chinese big mega embassy. To my dear Tibetans, Uyghurs, Taiwanese, Chinese dissidents, Hong Kongers, Falun Gong practitioners, Southern Mongolians, East Turkestan, and the residents of Tower Hamlet here, never give up. We will fully support the legal challenges and for the judicial review. Until then, we shall never rest. We shall continue to fight until the government change their mind. Thank you very much. Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet! Free Tibet! A big no to a big Chinese mega embassy. No, no!
No, no!
No, no!
No, no!
No, no!
No, no!
No and never!
No, never!
No and never!
No and never.
No to Chinese member embassy.
No to Chinese mega embassy.
Chinese member embassy.
No to Chinese mega embassy.
Freedom and free Tibet. Thank you.
我係香港前區議員，亦都係屈權自由民主黨地方議會議員小康。香港人，香港人，香港人，
香港人。
I am Dean Silhong, the former councillor in Hong Kong and a current Liberal Democrat Rockingham Borough Councillor. No to Chinese Super Embassy! No to Chinese Super Embassy!
No China mega embassy.
Fight for freedom!
Fight for freedom.
Fight for freedom!
Fight for freedom.
我今日首先會講東馬發言，然後到英文。Today I will speak in Cantonese first, followed by English. 多謝來自英國各地嚟聲援嘅朋友，亦都好多謝各位咁多，我見到好似今次係最多嘅記者朋友，各黨派各組織嘅議員同成員，多謝晒大家。相信大家都知道，上個禮拜有媒體收到資料，發現喺中共向
by saying the thank yous, a few thank yous. The first thank you is to all the speakers who have given up their time, given us their wisdom, given us their energy to keep fighting. Because whether Starmer says yes or no, we will not stop. And we will keep fighting until that building there is free of the Chinese Communist Party. I want to say a big thank you to the organisers. Today we have been treated to some very high-profile politicians. Apart from Kemi Badenoch, Syrian, Duncan Smith, who's been a tireless supporter of the anti-CCP cause and for human rights throughout his political career. We've had politicians from other parties to give their heartfelt support. The third thank you is to our friends, the Metropolitan Police, who don't always get the thanks they deserve. But they are what protects us from the bad will and the bad deeds of actors like the Chinese Communist Party. We have a lot more to fear from the Chinese Communist Party than they have from us. And if Sakia does say yes to the mega embassy, we will need your protection, colleagues at the Metropolitan Police, more than ever. The Chinese Communist Party are known for their long reach. And I would also like to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the trouble and the effort to come here. You are what makes these protests a success. You bring the reporters here, and the reporters magnify our message throughout the country. And a thank you to the media and the reporters. So, a few untruths. We've all heard about the national security threat. I won't go into detail. It made the Telegraph front page earlier this week, and we should be thankful to all the national media that are reporting it. Secondly, second untruth, British citizens and refugees will feel less safe in the streets of our own country if the Chinese Communist Party get a foothold in their mega embassy. The third untruth is simply this: the Chinese Communist Party's human rights abuse record, and that should speak for itself. Sir Keir Starmer, you are a human rights lawyer, for God's sake. You know what a human right is better than most of us. What on earth are you, as our Prime Minister and Labour government, doing, even thinking about giving the Chinese Communist Party a mega embassy? So Keir Starmer and Labour government, you have eyes. Are you blind to the Chinese Communist Party human rights abuses? So Keir Starmer and Labour government, you have ears. Have you not heard the warnings? The warnings from British security services, MI6, GCHQ, the Metropolitan Police. So Keir Starmer and Labour government, you have a heart. Do you not feel the suffering of the Tibetans, of the Uyghurs, of the Hong Kongers, of the Southern Mongolians, of the Chinese dissidents? And to Keir and Labour government, if you have a conscience, you will do the right thing and say no to the Chinese Communist Party mega embassy. We have a vote. And for those who don't have a vote at the moment, you will have a vote in the future. So our message to Sir Keir and Labour government is we will remember your decision when we vote in future elections.
Yes!
And finally, friends, we have a message to the Chinese Communist Party. Mega embassy, don't come to London. Go to hell! Yeah! Because that's where the mega embassy belongs. So, okay, CCP, come back to hell!
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. And for our next speaker, I'd like to invite Benedict Wrong from Hong Kong. Wrong from Hong Kong.
Free Tibet.
Free Tibet!
Stop Uyghur genocide.
Stop Uyghur genocide!
Free China. I want to say firstly how amazing it was to hear from the leader of the opposition and from other politicians from across parties, and also how wonderful it is to see so many people here from not only the Hong Kong and Tibet and Uyghur and Chinese dissident communities, but also friends from Burma or Myanmar, and I think maybe from Ukraine and other dictatorships or conflict situations that the Chinese Communist Party is itself facilitating and enabling. You know, we have over the last year been here many times. I kind of think we should just move into that building. We've been here so often. This is our 9th protest. But it is the most important protest because unless the government changes its mind in the next few days, its decision is imminent, and that's why we are gathered here today. You all know that we all know the reasons why this embassy should not go ahead. The issues of transnational repression, the issues of the human rights crisis across China, and the CCP's espionage. And if you weren't familiar with the issues, and if you haven't been following the news, just look at the front page of the Telegraph this week. China Embassy's secret threat to the city. So we say collectively with a very loud voice, Keir Starmer, do not approve this mega embassy. Of course China must have an embassy in this city, but they can have another location. that is less prominent, less historic, less symbolic, and less big. It should have an embassy for purely diplomatic purposes and not a spy center and a hub for transnational repression, which is what this building will be. But I want to say something a little bit new. I know time is limited, and so I want to be brief. And I'm not going to rehearse all the different arguments in detail, but I want to say something in addition to what we all have been talking about today, and that is granting this mega embassy, this super spy base, this hub for transnational repression is wrong at any time. But it is especially wrong when there is a 78-year-old courageous British citizen who has been in solitary confinement in a jail in Hong Kong for the last 5 years and faces the possibility of dying in jail, and that, of course, is Jimmy Lai. To give this embassy to the butchers of Beijing, while Jimmy Lai languishes in jail and faces perhaps a life sentence, whether a legal life sentence or just the practical reality of the fact that his health and his age mean he's unlikely to live until his release. To do that is completely wrong. Keir Starmer, we believe, is planning to go to Beijing at the end of this month. He should not go to Beijing unless Jimmy Lai is released. Jimmy Lai's release should be a condition for that visit. And I have one last suggestion. Instead of approving this mega embassy, this super spy base, this hub for transnational repression, instead of doing that, Tower Hamlets Council, and by the way, I want to express my solidarity with the residents of Royal Mint Court, because that's another argument. They will, if this goes ahead, either be evicted from their homes or become residents of the People's Republic of China, neither of which is acceptable. But Tower Hamlets Council, some while back, passed, if I recall, a motion to rename the streets, and I think that motion should be revived. Let's rename this street Hong Kong Avenue, and that street Tibet Road, and another street Uyghur Avenue. And let's also have a Taiwan Square. And most of all, let's rename not just this plaza here, but this whole intersection Jimmy Lai Junction. That, I think, would be a much better use of the government's time, attention and resources, and it would be what we all want. So we will not give up. We will support the residents of Royal Mint Court if it comes to it for a judicial review, but let's hope it doesn't come to it. But whatever happens, let's continue to raise our voices and to say a mega no to this mega embassy.
Thank you, Benedict Rogers. And for our next speaker, I'd like to invite the President of the UK Uyghur Community, Moira.
Hello everyone, friends, sisters, brothers, media, Member of Parliament, and everyone who believes in freedom and safety. So we are here today because this proposed Chinese mega embassy is not normal diplomacy. It's a power project, and for Uyghurs in the UK, it presents a direct, real threat. Uyghurs know what repression looks like. In our homeland, we cannot protest, we cannot speak without risking detention, disappearance, or worse. Uyghurs in the UK have been followed, filmed at peaceful demonstrations, and intimidated into silence. Some are afraid to show their faces because they know what transnational repression looks like. Pressure here, punishment there. When you can threaten someone's loved ones overseas, you don't need to arrest them in Britain. You just need to frighten them. That's why this mega embassy matters. A larger, more fortified, more resource compound is not just a building. It means more capacity, more civilians, more monitoring, more intimidation. It would deepen fear in our community and shrink our rights in practice, not by changing British law, but by making people too afraid to use it. And let's be clear, this is not only a Uyghur issue. This is British national security and sovereignty issue. If any foreign authoritarian state can intimidate communities inside the UK, then British authority over its own public life is weakened. If protesters can be monitored, if critics can be pressured, if people self-censor out of fear, then free speech and democratic participation are being eroded. Today, it's Uyghur, Hong Kongers, Tibetan, Taiwanese activists, Chinese dissidents, journalists, academics, but tomorrow even British elected officials who speaks up. So we ask the British government, whose safety matters, will the UK defend the right to protest without intimidation? Will it protect communities targeted by foreign repression? Or will it allow fear to widely take root in London? We say today clear, no to intimidation, no to civilians, no to transnational repression on British soil, no to Chinese mega embassy. And we say yes to freedom, safety, and the right to speak without fear. We will say clearly to Chinese government that you will not stop us to fight for our freedom and our human rights. No to mega embassy!
No to mega embassy!
No to mega embassy!
No to mega embassy!
Free Uyghurs!
Free Uyghurs!
Free Turkestan!
Free Turkestan!
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Southern Mongolia!
Free Southern Mongolia!
Keep hands of Taiwan!
Keep hands of Taiwan!
Thank you.
With voices from across the parliament, across the parties, including the MPs and even officials within Labour who oppose the Chinese Communist Party's mega embassy plan. This is not a party politics issue. It is a question of national security, democratic integrity, and a long-term responsibility. And this is the moment to speak clearly. No one here is opposing diplomacy. China, like any country, has the right to diplomatic representation. Dialogue matters, engagement matters. But diplomacy must never become exposure, and engagement must never override the judgment. What is being proposed is not a routine embassy upgrade. This would be the largest Chinese embassy in Europe, placed in a highly sensitive part of London, close to the City of London, near critical data and financial infrastructures, and surrounded by dense public space and civic life. Scale matters, location matters, and track record matters. We must be honest about the nature of the Chinese Communist Party. When we describe it as a belligerent authoritarian power, this is not a rhetoric. It is a pattern. It is a long-term trajectory. We have seen the freedoms dismantled in Hong Kong, in breach of Sino-British international commitment and treaty. We have seen threats towards the democracy in Taiwan, and we have seen civilians, coercion, and intimidation extend far beyond China's border. This is not speculation. It is a lived reality. Many in Hong Kong, Uyghur, Tibetan, and Chinese communities here in the UK know this reality every day and know it personally. In the official consultations, we are often treated as a community concern, a subgroup to be managed quietly, separately, and sometimes cautiously. But let me be clear, Hong Kongers in Britain have never hidden who we are, and we have never softened our stance. We speak openly, publicly, and consistently because our experience demands it. We do not ask for special treatment, we ask for moral clarity. When Hong Kongers raise the alarm, we do so not out of fear, but out of responsibility. To listen politely while disregarding those warnings is not neutrality, it is a choice. We have already seen our warnings come true on the British soil. In Manchester, a peaceful protest outside the Chinese consulate, and with our protester being dragged inside and assaulted by the diplomats, the Chinese diplomats. Whatever legal argument followed, the message was clear. The boundary between diplomatic space and public space was treated as optional. That should have been a warning. If this can happen at an existing consulate, we must ask what risks are created by a vastly expensive diplomatic complex in one of our busiest parts of London. Diplomatic premises are granted special protection, but those protections depend on trust. Trust that diplomatic privilege will not be abused. Trust that people exercising their lawful rights will not be intimidated. That trust has been strained and damaged. This mega embassy is not just large, it is extraordinarily complex, with secure internal areas far beyond the normal diplomatic needs. This is about capacity that raises serious questions about civilians, intelligence activities, and coercive reach. And once that capacity is embedded, once permissions are granted and the protections locked in, it becomes almost impossible to retreat, reverse, and withdraw. That is why this cannot be treated as an ordinary planning decision. Our planning system was designed to assess buildings, not geopolitical risk, transnational repression, or long-term national security consequences. Yet, we are told this approval is expected quietly, administratively, as if this were routine. That is unacceptable. And we must also speak honestly about timing. This decision is being pushed just as the Prime Minister prepared to visit China to discuss trade and investment. Engagement on trade matters, investment matters, but security and integrity matter more. Trade should strengthen our country, not soften its judgment. Investment should never come at the price of silence, self-censorship, and strategic vulnerability. A democratic nation does not demonstrate confidence by lowering its guard in moments of negotiation. It demonstrates confidence by showing that its values and securities are not bargaining chips. If this decision is rushed to smooth diplomatic optics or commercial discussion, that will send a dangerous message. That economic convenience outweighs national security and democratic principle. There are serious concerns about the process. If decisions appear to be determined before public hearing concludes, then consultations become performative, not democratic. Judicial reviews exist for precisely this reason, to ensure the decisions are lawful, fair, and not improperly influenced. This is not obstruction, this is accountability. Opposing this mega embassy plan is not anti-China. Let me say that clearly. It is pro-security, it is pro-democracy, and it is pro-responsible engagement. The Chinese people deserve rights and freedoms, not the global expansion of a system that denies them. So today, we call for three simple things: time, transparency, and accountability. Post this approval, allow genuine scrutiny. Do not trade this long-term security for short-term convenience. World peace is not perceived by silence or speed. It is preserved by foresight, restraint, and the courage to say, not yet, not like this, not without proper scrutiny. Britain must decide what kind of country it wants to be remembered as, one that traded principle for convenience and called it pragmatism, or one that understood the moment it was in and chose security, values, and responsibility. This is the moment to choose. Do not approve this plan, not now, not like this, and not at this cost. Thank you.
영상에서 차수 방법을 대리배하고 중수 암라 내가 그나 좀 아주 바갈 뽑으면 몰라 바갈 게 뽑으면 몰라 님 되고도 삼월로 쟁의 쏨 오이 Thank you.